Gallery view. There we go. There's more people.
Yeah. So we are, let's see, in terms of board members, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah. We've got everybody except Burtis.
What about the president-elect?
Who all, oh, yeah, where's,
We don't have
The
the
president-elect.
but we have a quorum.
Well, Bertie said
5 out of 7, right?
But this is a training opportunity. I think we ought to call him.
Welcome, Jim.
Call him, Bill.
You're going to call him?
Yes, I'll call him.
Okay, thanks. It's important that we keep Chuck, we give Chuck as much pre-pets experience as possible. Well, this is going to be a good meeting. I think the things are beginning to shape up.
Bill?
And Randy, we can see you, Randy.
That's
Yeah,
promising.
but I've got a lousy internet connection. I'm coming in and going out. Right now, you can probably hear me, but
No, we see you too, Randy.
yeah, I know. Just turn on the recording because to do the minutes, I'm probably going to have to listen to the meeting. I'm going to miss half of it the way this thing is working right now.
Okay, I've got the recording going. And we're waiting for Chuck.
Chuck says he'll be there in a minute.
Okay, we'll wait for him. John
But I don't
Burtis.
I don't know what a minute means from.
What's that?
I don't know what a minute means from Chuck though.
Oh, no, hey, with Chuck, a minute is exactly 60 seconds.
Well,
Okay.
Chuck needs to get his priorities straight.
A minute with anybody else, you know, is plus or minus an hour. But Chuck is worth waiting for.
Bill, you should have probably gotten an email about the grant seminar.
Yeah, I think. I'm not sure.
There's one on February the 12th, and there's another one, and
I know that one member of the club has to participate in order that we participate in the.
Yeah, I got that email, Bill. I forwarded it to all the current presidents and the presidents-elect, the 3 clubs, and I made sure they knew the dates and how to sign up and how important it was. And so far, the only one I've heard anything back from is Chuck. And so,
Of course.
which one of the 3 clubs? It's our turn this time, right?
it's our turn, yeah.
Yeah, it's our turn.
Yeah.
So we ought to be sure, in this meeting, let's make sure somebody's assigned to participate.
And the thing about the grant this year too, Bill, I know you remember this. When we do decide what we want to propose, we usually have to get concurrence, what we do from the other 2 clubs. Last time that was ours with New Roots, long after the fact, I heard a lot of moaning out of Onancock. So, I mean, I don't mean to badmouth them, but they're very locally centered. And so anything we need to try to at least make it something that's good for the whole shore.
Well, we always do, and
I
get
know.
over it.
I know, but I just don't want to hear that again this year, you know?
Well, they're gonna always whine.
I know that. I know who the whiners are too, but still.
Well,
You
could say the same thing with Randy Custis thing up there, okay?
What's that?
I mean, you could almost say the same thing for Randy Custis. I mean, it's up there in Nassawatix, but there's one particular person that has a big vested interest in that place, and he happens to belong to the Onancock Club.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, look,
And-
the
well-
brand guys, they're acting like babies. The brand is Eastern Shore.
Well,
Come
exactly. And when it's your club's turn to pick it, if it's a little more centered towards your club, then fine, So then, I mean, we've gone along with things before and we never complain. And it just irritates me. I mean, if I hear it up front and somebody says, no, we want it closer to an Adcock, well, then we can either go with 2 clubs or change. But when you hear about it after the fact is when it bothers me. It's like, if you got a problem, just be upfront with it.
Well,
But anyway, that's another whole thing.
I know, Bill, you got to get over that.
Well, it's hard for me to do that, but you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Are there any,
You know,
are there any suggestions for
for us
possible-
next
yeah.
year, I haven't heard any yet, but
No, me either.
we can talk about that too if we have time. So what's with Chuck?
I don't know, maybe he's having technical issues or something.
Yeah, I think we ought to start. All right. I know you'll yell at me if I don't ask for approval of
moved.
last meeting's minutes. Everybody's read the minutes,
moved.
right? Randy just got them out.
Yep. Well, he had him out before too. He put him out the second time.
That's right. What a secretary.
And he just can't hear you or see you.
But we can hear him.
That's good.
You can see
All
him.
right.
Fine.
I'd like a motion to approve the minutes.
I said so moved.
Oh, okay. Paul, second.
Second.
Bill Murphy, second. All in favor? Aye.
All right.
All right.
Aye. Okay, the minutes are accepted, and they were good minutes. Thank you, Randy. Super minutes. All right. The bulk of this meeting, I think we should invest in our contribution plan.
Well, first you need to approve the treasurer's report.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We need to see it then. Let me share with you.
Sent it to everybody, didn't I?
I guess you did, but you know,
I'll put it up. Let me try to share the screen if you'll let me.
yeah, I just gave you permission to share.
Let's see.
I'm a little off this morning. But there you go, Paul. You're really getting good at this.
What? Auto hide ribbon. There we go. All right. Here we
All
are.
on one screen. Wow.
So here's the we started the month January 1st with almost $18,000 total, of which Jim Rich, for your information, we keep the operating fund and contribution fund separate. They're in the same bank account, but we bookkeeping wise, we keep them separate. So you'll see what goes where. So most of the entries this month went into the operating fund, like dues, and as did most of the expenses. We reimbursed some people for Zoom well, this was Zoom fees. This was attendance at a district conference, RLI, the presidential retreat. All of those things cost a little bit of money, not as much as usual because they're mostly done over Zoom. Here's our semi-annual dues to district, which was $608, and to Rotary International, which is the most expensive, probably the most expensive operating fund item we have, which was $1,600. That's just for, these are just for half a year. We bought some flowers for Roberta Romeo, which Regina paid for, and I reimbursed her. So all of that came from, that was all operating fund. So we ended the month with an operating fund balance of $7,000. In the contribution fund, we put our individual contributions to the Rotary Foundation. We're now putting all of our happy dollars in the contribution fund. And that's it. That covers everything. So ended the month with a contribution fund balance of $10,420. And that's the total. And this is just a reconciliation with the bank balance because these two items hadn't cleared yet. So any questions?
Okay, I guess it was that very clear, Paul. You did another outstanding job. So I'd like a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Randy, move that we do that. A second?
Second.
Reggie, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the treasurer's report has been accepted. Thank you, Paul. Now, let's talk about what we do with all this money in terms of helping the community. We have a list of organizations we've periodically sponsored. Is that the basis for starting? Paul, I'll let you drive the train.
Well, one great big question it has to do with when we did the budget for this year. Let's see if let me try to put the budget up. Of course, it let's see, it's not actually the budget. No, that's not it either. Where's Rotary budget? This is it. But I'm not sharing yet. It's kind of hard because it doesn't all fit on one screen. But if you want, I can try to share this. Where'd that come from? I've kind of lost. Right now, for some reason, I'm having trouble pulling the.
Want me to look for it?
There we go. I'm back. All right. I had everything minimized on the video, but now I've got the full screen. So I can share the screen and put the budget up if you want.
Well, you know, whatever you think is best, so we have a frame of reference.
Where? Show all windows. That's what I want to do. So now I've got to find the things just aren't in the same order when you pull this up under Zoom. Okay, here's the budget. For one thing, here's the charitable income, okay? And this is our budget for 2000, for this fiscal year. All right, so it starts, the budget starts right down here. And so this is money that members contribute to the Rotary Foundation, and that just goes directly, really, from our club to the district, or I mean to Rotary International. I mean, we didn't budget any crab cake money this year, as we usually have. This was last year's budget, and this was last year's actual, okay? Can you see my pointer?
Yep.
And so, but we budgeted nothing here. This is our raffle. And so we budgeted that we would have this much income in raffle. We probably beat that a little bit. And then the other big item of income that we budgeted was some other project. This assumes we have another event, which generates $5,000 profit. And we were thinking in terms of a golf cart raffle or something like that. So we budgeted $13,810 in income for charitable. This is actually the total income, including operating. All right. So we were conservative and we budgeted $3,000 less in income than we had budgeted the year before. But actually, this was the actual the year before, so we didn't quite make our budget for. I can't remember all the reasons for that. Well, for one thing, I don't think we had a raffle last year, so we were kind of conservative in how we budgeted the income, and then our budget for. I think this is the charitable down here. Yep. So we budgeted. Problem is the way I have the budget set up. Okay, yeah, you can see it all now. So New Roots Youth Garden, we budgeted $500. Well, we don't necessarily. New Roots has not been very active this past year, so there's some question of whether we ought to give $500 to New Roots this year. It hasn't had much going on so far this year. So we budgeted $250 for the Eastern Shore Coalition Against Domestic Violence, which we usually support. Dictionaries for third graders. RILA, we budgeted $1,000. Well, it turns out we have less. We had to spend less than that because it's all on Zoom now. We only spent $375. That's our total cost here, so we're saving some money there. The district project for the year, we've already contributed to that. International project of the year, we haven't contributed anything yet. We budgeted $1,000. And donations relative to Kip School, I think we've spent about half of that so far. Shore soccer, I can't remember whether we've spent that yet or not, but we committed $500 a year to them. Last year we didn't do it because it was such an unusual year, and we decided to give as much money to the food bank as we could, and we talked to that Shore Soccer people about that, and they agreed. Bayer Island Center, we budgeted $500. Again, last year we didn't give them anything because of we spent all we could on the food bank. And then the other is this list down here.
Hold on, this is Chuck. Let me see what's going on with Chuck. Hey, Chuck. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, here, we're going to let you in. Yeah, well, we forgot about you, Chuck. Sorry.
All right, I'm on now. Thanks.
Okay, sorry, Chuck. And you weren't the only one. Stanley was out there as well.
Okay.
So it's not that we don't love you guys, but let me tell you, we spent all of that time to get this slide up that you're looking at now. So you haven't missed out on anything.
All right.
So
and what we're working on, guys, we're working on our plan for charitable giving this fiscal year. And Paul, will you kind of summarize what you just said?
Oh, well, I think we budgeted our charitable expenses this year fairly conservatively, a couple $1,000s less than last year. But our budget for this year included $5,000 in other income, some other charitable income producing event to replace part of the crab cakes that we were missing. So what we're going to have available to spend depends to a very large degree on what the status of that is, Bill. So do you have an update for us?
Yeah, and I'll just jump ahead, but then we'll come back to this. We have a golf cart. A golf cart business in Charlottesville, Virginia. And the guy is actually the son of Nan and Steve Bennett.
Ah,
His name is Josh Bennett. And I think he might supply the golf carts for Bay Creek, because our Bay Creek guy, Bobby Masters, it took a little chasing and talking and discussing, but he and his team got Josh to sell us a golf cart, not us, but to sell them a golf cart that would retail for about $4,400. He discounted it to $2,900 plus sales tax, and Bay Creek is paying for it. So we are going to have within a week or so, and it's going to be delivered to my garage, free of charge, because Josh is going to come visit his parents. So we have a $4,400 golf cart free. So all we have to do now is kick Randy and his team to enable and to put together a campaign to raffle the golf cart, and everything we sell should be profit. So
fantastic.
So if
Yeah.
we sell $5,000 worth of tickets, we've got $5,000 to give away.
Well, let me ask, Bill, if somebody wins outside of Cape Charles, let's say somebody wins in Charlottesville, how do we get the cart back over there to deliver to the winner?
We'll figure that out. I mean, if they win the cart, Brandy will work all this, do we do transportation or do they do transportation?
Okay.
But why don't we just leave all that to Randy and his team?
I can't participate in the conversation.
Well, you don't have to now. We're just declaring you're going to raise $5,000.
Wonderful. I'll write the check as soon as the meeting's over.
Hey, Bill? Bill?
Yeah, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, just one quick question. It sounds like if that's the value of the cart, that it's probably already what I call tricked out, which is changed from a golf course type cart, to one with a rear seat and, the bag holders taken off, all the things that you do to jazz one up a little bit. At that price point, I think it would be sort of a nice basic cart. But do we know for sure if we're going to have to add anything to it or do any further modifications or anything?
I don't know. That's for Randy to figure out.
Yeah. Okay.
But I tell you, the picture that that they sent us, it looks just like the carts I see riding around here.
Oh, good. Can you send that to me if you get a chance?
I'll send it to everybody.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
great.
All right.
All right. So assuming we have $5,000, Paul,
That's great.
then how much money do we have to give away?
Well, the good news is that not only will we have that $5,000, which we budgeted in income, but I kind of looked to see how our budgeted income and our budgeted expenses compared to what we will likely get and already have gotten and spend this year. And just the fact that we're putting happy dollars now in our charitable fund, which we used to put in our operating fund, and the fact that we've had an extra $600 to $1,000. We had $600 specifically to Polio Plus from individual contributors in memory of Richard Leal, and then other happy dollars, which I haven't tallied up yet for Randy might, but for Polio Plus, and so that takes the place of money that we normally would have had to spend to Polio Plus that are now available. And so I'm saying there's a net $1,000 to the club for other charitable expenses from those items. You add to that, say $500 that we probably don't need to give to New Roots this year. And $600 that we've saved because of the difference in RILA expenses. That's already about $2,100 to the positive that we have, not counting everything else.
So we're up to 7,000.
Hmm?
That adds up to about 7,000 plus.
Right. So,
Hey, Paul, one other thing. What have we've got a lot of money in the operating budget that we don't need to operate with, right?
we can always transfer a little over if we run. Well, yeah.
So we got,
I figure
okay.
when COVID's over, we ought to just have, we ought to throw a big party.
No, that's, I'm not in favor of that.
Uh-oh.
I'm in favor of helping the community. Now, it seems like we have from about $7,000 to $10,000 we can give away.
Well, 7 anyway.
I know you say 7, I say 10. All right, let's start naming some of our favorite charities and write them down so we can. Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, I'm always plugging the school. I know both the teachers up there are very closely with the kids, but also one of them, Katie Pittman, works a lot in the community at large in Northampton County and even in Accomack. There are always 50 different programs and things that she's doing or looking into. And so we could always use a little more support there. I think Paul said we should have
We've
about
used about half
500
of it
left.
so far.
Yeah, well, we'll need about 140, 150 for a student of the year, which I assume they're going to do. But I mean, any extra money we want to put towards that, I can speak with the ladies up there and find out what we could do for the school. But,
Okay, so Kip to Peak, I'd like to put and this is time to speak up. I'd like to put the Boys and Girls Club in as they are in temporary location now at the Northampton Fire and Rescue in Nassawattucks at that fire station. Randy's calling me. Yeah, Randy?
Yeah, I'm sorry to do this, but I gotta put an input here and I can't over the computer.
Okay, just we'll keep the line open and you'll get your input.
All right, well, the reason I'm calling is anyone observed the email that we got from the district about the district employee who was
Oh yeah, we're gonna
killed?
talk about that.
Okay, as long as we are, I just don't want it to be overlooked.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Randy, I can hear you over the computer, no problem.
Well, it comes and goes.
Okay.
I'm gonna hang
Okay,
up.
but we're that's a line item, absolutely. So yeah, I had that in my notes to make sure we had her in. It's just a matter of how much. So I'd like to put the Boys and Girls Club in for 500.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we budgeted 1,000.
Then 1,000 then. I always feel guilty because I'm the chair and I'm sensitive to conflict of interest, but I'm only half sensitive. So I'll be totally unsensitive. $1,000 for Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, Bill Strand.
I just sent out the letters to both the schools today for Boy State. So I'll put a plug in for the 800.
So is it still going to cost 800?
It's 2 boys. Yeah.
So that's still going to be in person?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Paul, can you put that list back up that you, the
Yeah,
last,
I'm trying to do something here.
just do what you did before.
Well, I know, but I can pull up everything at once, I
Ugh, I don't know if we can stand it.
think.
Are there any programs that current government, I hate to say it this way, there's a better word for it, but the government handouts that are currently going on to assist people through the whole COVID thing, are there any programs that are not benefiting from any government handouts that maybe we can contribute to help them out? I'm trying to think of any, but I can't. But if anybody thinks of something, that may be helpful.
Yeah, well, keep thinking, Chuck, because you're right on.
Well, we can always go with Habitat if that's available.
Yeah, are you putting
Yeah.
a bid in for contributing to Habitat?
I'd like to, yes.
Let's put it down then. How
Yeah.
much, Stan?
500?
Okay, 500. And what we'll do is we'll add it all up and we'll see what we've got. And then we start, swizzling things around.
All
So,
right.
hey, Jim Rich, you got any ideas?
Only, I personally go back to the Historical Society. It's not a big COVID thing, but we had that project that I gather we committed to before I joined, had to do with painting or helping to refurbish the caboose that they have on display. They just have a lot of rolling stock, and they increased, since the club made its commitment to help with the caboose, they increased their amount of rolling stock, and it's all sitting out in the rain. But I'm going to wait until the end. That's not a pressing COVID related need.
Okay.
All right. Now let
Okay,
me.
there's the
All right,
there's the
so you can-
list.
Well, these are the things that we have right up in the budget as line items, okay? And these things like that are just confusing. Let me just take that out. So new routes. Does anybody want to talk? Suggest that we give more money to new routes?
Well,
This fiscal year. I mean, I think we ought to resume next year.
by next year, you mean next summer?
The fiscal year starts in the summer, and I don't think they're going to need any money till summer.
Well, they can always use money, but I don't think we have to give them any this fiscal year.
So Ryla, we've already said that's 375.
Ryla, we've done.
The district project for the year we've done. What else have y'all already addressed? Down
Well,
here?
hey, we're skipping over Kip to Peak.
Oh,
I thought I saw Kip to there.
right here.
Yeah.
So we budgeted 1,000. We've already spent 500. Another five. I mean, it's a total of 1,000 adequate.
Bill, what do you think, Murphy? Murphy, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm sorry, Bill. I was looking at the screen. What'd you ask me?
More money for Kip to Peak.
With another 500 left, unless they come up with a particular need, I think we're all right. If we really just want to do something else for them, then, I mean, I know there's always things that can be done, but I don't think there's a lot of urgency to it. And, we'll just see what everybody else has for ideas first.
Okay. So don't put 1,000 in for Kip to Peak. Take that out.
Well, these are totals for the year.
We haven't given them 1,000 this year.
Giving them 500, and Bill has suggested we plan to give them another 500, right?
didn't-
Yeah,
No,
just to see how it works out, let's throw an extra 500 in there. That way we'd still have 1,000 for them. And then if we
What's the
start,
total of 1,000 for the year?
just take it back out.
Okay, so that's total.
Dictionaries, we definitely want to do.
Yep.
I've called a couple of times about that. I haven't been able to get any comments back on that yet. I think I saw Tom on here, and maybe he's heard something.
Tom, you're on mute.
Yes, I thought we put it on hold for a while because of the schools being closed, but I still have some of those dictionaries left over that are ready to be given out. I just don't, I need to find out how many.
How many
So-
dictionaries do you have?
I'm not sure, probably about maybe 30, 40, I guess.
Oh, not many. Okay. Paul, why don't you just put that in there?
Yeah, I'll just keep the 240.
Yeah.
So the
Oh, that's hey now vis-a-vis what Chuck was saying, I think that the Eastern Shore Coalition Against Domestic Violence should get some money.
yeah, well, we budgeted 250. You want to put 250 in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What about the food bank? That's a consistent need.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the one that came to
absolutely.
mind. Let's stick
We have
500 in.
500 down here. We probably
Yeah,
ought to do more.
Okay, well, what do you want to do? 1,000?
I'd throw that in there and let's see where everything else adds up to.
Okay. So somebody already mentioned Boy State's going to be 800, which we ought to do. You mentioned Habitat for Humanity, and we already budgeted 200. Any reason to change that?
Well, what I think Stan was talking about something totally different, just giving a direct
Well, we're
donation.
already in February. I doubt if they're.
Did we do the February freeze?
No, it's not being done.
So why don't we give Habitat $500? That's what Stan said. I didn't
Yeah.
say that. Stan said that.
What is there any reason they have a special need this year?
Just donations. There's always a need for building materials for the housing.
Right.
What's our history with Habitat?
About 200 a year.
February freeze primarily.
Why don't we stick 250 in and see where we are?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
But we ought to put 1,000 in for the food bank.
I see they're building a home right now just south of Nassawatix on Seaside Road.
Yeah, that's House 51 probably.
Is anything else?
We ought to do something for when we go back into crab cake mode. But is the firehouse going to have tool mania? I don't think so.
Well, we still ought to contribute.
Well, yes. The thing about the fire department is it's continuing at full operation, even
Right.
though, and it's got all of its normal expenses, even though it can't do these fundraisers. So I would suggest that we consider giving our regular fundraiser amount, even though they're unable to hold the event.
I agree.
Plus we make our crab cakes there when it's cold. So you're right on, Jim.
And now, Okay, did anything else get mentioned before I started, before I brought this
I
up and
would,
started putting numbers in?
if I may also ask, for the same
East Detroit
reason,
Boys and Girls Club, we talked about 1,000 there.
Yep.
I would like to see the Historical Society at least receive the $200. That's probably also for one of their fundraisers, I'm guessing.
That's just
But-
sort of our annual gift to them, which sort of includes
Oh.
our membership.
Good. Thank you.
Was the chamber a gift or
No,
our,
that's our yearly membership.
well, we ought to do that.
Right.
What's your total now?
Well,
I would suggest that we consider making that donation to CCMS, even though we did not have the festive Fridays, but there's so many other activities that we're working on to benefit the Cape Charles area.
Stram would second that.
If we do that, it'd be
Sorry, who-
4180.
I'm sorry, would you say that again, Reggie?
The CCMS 300 donation.
Right. Now, I don't think we've contributed anything to them yet this year. I can't remember for sure. I can pull.
Stram would know. Stram, have we given them any money?
I don't think so.
Okay, put it in.
Let's see. We've already given. Okay. In Cape Charles Main Street. Okay, I'll have to go back. So in the month of November, we gave the food bank and Main Street combined $550. I can't remember what was what, but I can find it. Let's see, it'll be in the so in the month of November, we gave $250. Oh, that was the contribution at the district meeting to food for the food bank.
Yeah.
And then we gave $300 to Main Street. So we have contributed to Main Street.
So that would be in the upper section. Do you have
Yeah,
that?
and the line item says for festive Fridays, so you gave just before Christmas and it ended up, we didn't have festive Fridays, but
Right, but we didn't ask for the money back.
right.
So we've given them 300.
Okay, now let's not forget the.
And we've already
this-
given some of that to food bank.
Okay, add a line item for the, can you type on that?
Yeah.
We got to put a line item in for the district administrator's family.
How much did they ask for?
We were going to decide. Bill, you want to lead that discussion, Bill Murphy?
Yeah, there wasn't any specific amount requested by the district, but they did want to go through GoFundMe, but then we found out that if we sent it directly to the district, they would forward it to the family and we wouldn't incur any charges by the GoFundMe site. So originally, I think we had said $200, but we never settled on an amount for sure. And there wasn't a requested amount. And I have no idea what other people have been giving.
So throw out a number.
I would say 200 if everybody's okay with that.
I'm okay. I think it's a little light.
Well, I mean, they would love more. I mean, not many people knew Pat. I knew her a little bit over the past year. I can tell you she was a very nice lady. she worked very hard and she was very responsive if you needed something back from the district. And I do know the need is there from talking.
That's
to her.
worth another $50.
Okay, that's good. I'd be
Right.
happy with that.
The president wants 250.
Yeah.
So we just,
May I ask?
Yeah.
Sorry, may I ask a question? And forgive me for going back to this historical society gift, but when the club committed to helping out with this caboose, was it considered a service project or was
Yes.
it going to be a donation?
no, service
And if
project.
it's a service project, who's going to buy all the paint and everything?
They had a bunch of vendors, hardware stores and so forth that were going to contribute all the materials.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Well, there's no reason we couldn't add to that. I mean,
And it is a
Well,
difficult year.
I'd like to hold on that until they get their act together. Their executive director left, and it was
Yeah.
kind of strange.
Diane was sort of spearheading that whole thing. She kind of knew what our part of that was. It sounded like it was pure labor. But you're right, Bill. They've changed leadership, so some of the rules may have changed. And we need to hear what's going to be supplied, what's not going to be supplied. And
Yeah. They don't have a management system in place yet. And we can do that on your watch, Chuck.
yeah.
So how much have we, have you added up the top and the bottom? What
Well,
we've given?
not exactly. I mean,
Well, do it in your head. Where are we?
Well, with that $5,000, and with the money we've saved and the other things that I talked about a minute ago, we're about $7,000 ahead. And what am I trying to say?
I know what you're trying to say, but just add
not
up those
$7,000
two.
ahead.
Add up those numbers. Add up the top and the bottom.
2365
I can
on the top part.
Okay, and what's the bottom part?
And then we can take this from here, and it's a grand total of $67.95. Now
You're
what
$7,000.
Wait a second.
well, that's not
You haven't-
it. That's not the same 7,000. We shouldn't even put the Rotary Foundation into this calculation because
No,
that's
no,
just
no,
pass through.
no.
And the polio plus, we can kind of take that out.
Yep.
Where's that money going to come from?
Well, we've already given
You
them
said
half of
600.
that.
You said
And then-
600.
And then
We
we've
had
got 600
2,400.
here, and then we've got other money coming from the club. So, which is pretty much covered by the happy dollars and all, which was more money coming in than we had anticipated.
Okay, what was our commitment for the year 2,400?
2,400.
And you've already paid what?
We've already given them 1,265. We got another 600 set aside from the Richard Leal contributions.
Right.
And so we just need another $600 from the club, and we've got that from the happy dollars.
Yeah, we'll do that between now and then end of June.
Bill Payne, let me give you a time check. We're about 10 minutes away from the general meeting.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So, I mean, we've got money. What else did we want to talk about spending? The international project now, we haven't put that in.
Oh, yeah. Regina, this is when you speak up.
All right, how about 500?
If we can find something meritorious,
how
we ought
about-
to
Save
spend what-
children.
How about more?
we ought to spend what we budgeted if it's something
Yeah.
that has merit.
If the
And,
guy-
and Regina, you come up with the right international deal.
I like that, save the children.
Then that's it.
Okay, it's a decision.
In the shore soccer, I think we had talked about giving them the usual 500. Does everybody agree?
Well, that's one of our favorites, right? Because
We made a commitment to them that we would give them $500 a year.
plus Liz Jones is probably the best person in the world. The money's going to be well spent.
Did you give anything to
Uh,
Smart Beginnings?
Yeah.
talked about
Oh,
that
yeah.
yet.
Because Linda Schultz will be all over us. Go down to Smart Beginnings. It's in the bottom there.
Yeah, we haven't put a number in for that. We budgeted $500. We've budgeted $500 a year, pretty much.
Put 500 in.
What is Smart Beginnings about?
Smart Beginnings is about teaching. Well, first of all, it's early childhood development. But the major thing they do that's a continuing expense is these bags, these diaper bags full of instruction for young mothers that they give them at the hospital. And they give about 300 of them away a year.
Oh, that's
And-
good.
Okay.
And some of these young mothers, they're kids.
Right, absolutely.
So,
It's like a great cause.
okay, now look, what I think we ought to do is let Paul go and summarize all this and look at it and come back to us via email with what it looks like. And we can then present it to a club meeting if we could do it by next week, which is a club assembly, hey, could you have it put together by next week, Paul?
Sure.
Did you say sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so next week, Paul's gonna put this all together. He'll send us an email, look at it, see if it makes sense to you. So that's one thing. Then we'll present it to the club next week at the assembly, so they have an opportunity to say yes or no or put something in it. Meanwhile, Randy, who's on your team?
I have to rebuild the team. I don't have a team right now. You mean for the golf cart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to rebuild it.
Okay, Randy's going to rebuild the team. Make sure Wayne Bell is on that team.
Yeah, he's on my list.
I'd like to be a advisory member, maybe.
And I volunteer.
Jim is on the team because everybody, I haven't announced to everybody here, but Jim is our publicity chair.
There you go. Thank you.
Makes perfect sense.
And let me tell you what Jim said he was going to do. He's going to spearhead a website for our club. So Jim, tell Paul how much that'll cost, and Paul will put it in the budget.
Okay, probably around $150 for the year is my guess.
Okay,
And I'll refine that.
And that's for what now?
the website.
Website. Operate the website for 1 year.
And this is great.
Well, is that a charitable expense or is that an
No,
operating?
that's an operating expense.
Yeah, you have to pay
Right.
for a URL for a website address.
Yeah, we got to host it.
That
and
has nothing to
everything.
do with this, and we got money in in operating.
Oh, we got a ton of money in the operating, but we want to get the line item in there. So, Jim, thank you for stepping up.
Thank you.
We've been doing pretty good with you know, a real effort, good effort on Chuck's part to publicize. But now that we've got a news guy, doing that, we'll free up Chuck so he can be a good president, and we'll do a cracker job there, and I really appreciate it. So, okay, we've got 4 minutes before people like Al start joining us. But Al, the board meetings are open to the public. So, hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Any
Al.
other business before we wrap it up and have our regular meeting? Okay, well, look, thank you, everybody. I think we did a pretty good job there. And if you'd like to, if you think you can help Randy with his project, raise your hand. Just give him a call. We've got our A team raising their hand here. If we don't raise, I think the sky's the limit on this thing.
I think you're right.
$5,000 is like meets minimum.
I think there's a lot of pent up COVID. I need to get out of the house and ride my golf cart.
There you go, Chuck. Timing couldn't be better. I
Yeah.
tell you, a monkey can make $5,000. So let's show that we're better than monkeys.
Hey, Bill, one quick question before we go. Did you say we're going to talk about ideas for the 3 club project, or you were looking for some?
We ran out of time. Let's do that maybe next week. Jackie, your feeding back.
Okay, well, just something to be thinking about. I think it might be a good time to try to do Boys and Girls Club again.
Okay. We want to make sure, Jackie, we're feeding back. I want to make sure we have a home before we, move on that. Right now, we don't have a home. But thanks.
Is that because of COVID and the school being closed, or other reasons?
The school kicked us out because of COVID. Looks like we're going to have a good meeting again today. Everybody run get a cup of coffee and fellowship while I get the bell. And I've got to get ready to share because it looks like Diane's not going to be here.
Anybody know how Roberta's doing?
No, shame on us. But I think she's doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Paul, thanks a lot for driving that train. Good job.
Yeah, he always does a great job.
Come on. He has he has a PhD in mathematics.
Out here. I don't want to hear you squawking.
That's true. That's true. You think just because he's a doctor, he can't have a PhD in mathematics? Well, he's got both.
What's 9 times 9, Paul? You gonna make coffee, Bill?
Yeah.
Just take my cup out. I'm going to make some eventually.
I could use a hot chocolate right now. I don't have any.
Yeah. Did you see that rain earlier today?
The what?
Down like, the rain came down like.
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, it's still coming out. I can see the drops on the pond in the back.
Oh, this was about, what, 10 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, it came down.
So what did everybody think about the senior squad pulling that win out in the Super
I
Bowl?
loved it.
Me too.
Did you listen to what he eats? No
Yeah.
dairy, no eggs, no tomatoes, no potatoes. Potatoes and tomatoes and eggplant and,
I don't think there's a whole lot of science involved in that.
come on. Well, wait a minute, potatoes, tomatoes, eggplants, they're called lectins and they tear holes in the intestinal walls.
Oh, you buy all that?
I read it.
I want to know why those guys were wearing their underpants on their head, dancing around the field. And who the hell heard of Weekend?
You're much too old to know who The Weeknd is.
I think anyone over 20 is too old.
Oh, we got waiting room people.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I think we ought to do, Jackie?
What, yeah.
Make you a co-host and you can let people in.
Sure, Bill.
Always sloughing off, isn't he, Jackie?
Yeah, anything he can.
Now,
What's that job pay?
guess Diane's here. Oh, great. I don't have to drive.
There she is.
Here I am. Yes, indeed.
You know, you could arrive on time and say, hey, Reggie, how did we do that co-host thing before? You hover over the person, right?
Yes, correct.
You have to stand up to do that, Bill.
Oh, I have to go over to more. No, I can't do it, Reg. Oh,
Do you do the 3 dots?
I can make her the host, but not the how did I do you that time?
Well, I don't need to be the co-host.
No, we're talking about making Jackie the co-host
Oh, okay.
so she can watch the waiting room. Okay, everybody behave. Our guest is coming on. Jim Outland.
Joan, have you heard anything from Roberta the last few days?
I talked to her yesterday and she seems to be doing better. She's still home. She sounds better for sure. She's going down one step in her use of oxygen. So that's a good sign.
What was that, Joan? She's what?
She's going down one step on her use of oxygen, liters per minute, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Good news, she's home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You know who that is. That's Robert. Yep.
Joe,
Hey, Jim. Welcome to Rotary, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, what's your background there? Are you in your office?
Yes.
Okay. We'll introduce you more formally later, but there are about 17 Rotarians on right now. Say hi to Jim, everybody.
Hi,
Hello,
Jim.
Jim.
Back at you. Thanks for having me.
Being an avid biker, I'm real anxious to hear what you got to tell us, Jim.
Yeah.
Chuck is besides himself. What? Oh. Okay, fellowship just a minute longer. We might, we've got Dave Kabler trying to get in.
Kind of a crazy weather day. It's like 1 minute it's raining, the next minute the sun is out.
Yeah, but it's gonna be clear this afternoon, Chuck.
Yeah, it's supposed to get real cold again, I think, especially in the Midwest.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that groundhog and wring his neck.
The only good thing about February is it's the shortest month of the year.
Hey, it's my birthday month too, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, Stanley's coming up soon.
Are you 21 yet, Stan?
I'm working on it. I'll be there soon.
Now, see, if you were born February 29th, you'd only have a birthday every 4 years.
Yeah, right? How about that?
All right, I'm going to start recording. Oh, I never stopped, I don't think.